The Mariners whooped the 49ers 41-6, moving on to the NFC Championship against who else but the LA Rams. And while the Mariners haven't made a lot of moves this offseason, their players made some moves on the top 100. We'll go over that along with some extra things so far this offseason for the Mariners, all in this episode of the 12th Inning Podcast.
Hey, how about these ball hawks from the Pacific Northwest? Oh, I get it. Some might call them overconfident, a little bit full of themselves, but is it bragging if you back it up? Let's see. You hit them, they hit you harder. You get in their face, they get right back in yours. Basically, anything you do, they'll do better. Hold on. This isn't a sightseeing, we're just happy to get back to the big dance kind of thing for these guys. These fellas have meant business all season long. A hit first, ask questions later defense, a beast moves the earth when he runs, and a quarterback destined for this spotlight. So what do you say, Seattle? That other team may be a mile high, but we all know you guys crank it all the way up to 12.
Whew. If that doesn't get you hyped for the upcoming game against the Rams, I don't know what will. Credit to PNW Edits on TikTok for that. I'll make sure to have him linked in the comments section. It's crazy to me, just real quick to talk about that video and just the previous Seahawks, the Legion of Boom. It's crazy to me how many points on that video and from that recording that was recorded for the Super Bowl in 2013, 2014, whenever the actual date happened, was recorded over a decade ago. And we're here again in a very similar position, and every single point hits. It's incredible. How about those ball hawks, huh? Again, shout out to PNW Idiots. Saw that come across my For You page and knew that had to be the intro. So a lot of hype going into this NFC Championship game against the Rams. But before we do that, we should touch on the 49ers game. Mitch, that 49ers game, what do we even say?
Belt to ass. That is basically.
Are we late enough in the recording to say belt to ass? Because yeah,
that's what that game was belt to ass. It was amazing, and honestly, that's all there really is to say about the overall. So even quickly jumping into our stars or medals or whatever the fuck we're calling it now, I don't even know anymore. It doesn't matter. Whole team gets top tier. There is no second, no bronze, gold, or bronze, gold. There is no silver, bronze, no medal. There is no 2, 1, no star. It is all 3-star, gold medal, top tier.
Yeah.
The whole team was top tier in this game, and again, belt to ass.
Yeah, this team is playing like a playoff team through and through. They looked like a playoff team through and through. I won't lie, I was a little worried coming into that game versus the 49ers. I felt that nervousness. I felt those butterflies. We're coming off a bye week. Are they going to come in cold? The 49ers, yes, they've been beat to hell, but they just beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And while they did not look like the best team out there, the Eagles nor the Niners, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl just last year. So I was worried about that matchup coming in because it's always hard facing a division rival, and it's especially hard facing a division rival for the third time. So I was nervous, but I was quickly relieved about 13 seconds into this game. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Rashid Shaheed. Who, if there was going to be where we gave medals and everything else, I can guarantee Rashid Shaheed would be my top tier if we were going out. But this whole team was top tier.
Just incredible. John Schneider is absolutely executive of the year. That trade
100%.
for Rashid Shaheed. I mean, this whole team was in rebuild mode, is what everybody was saying. Let go of Geno, or traded Geno, let go of Tyler Lockett, traded DK Metcalf, basically tore down the entire offense. And everybody saw Sam Darnold as a true whole and didn't see JSN being a number one receiver. This season has been so special. This season has been so magical. The 49ers game was special. The 49ers game was magical. It felt like the culmination of all these storylines, of all this negativity surrounding this team of like, they're going to finish 4th in the division. This felt like the culmination of just the frustration of all that coming up in an ass whooping of a division rival.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. There's very little to talk about with this game. Obviously, we pointed out Rashid Shaheed, but I mean, fuck, man, like this game was awesome.
But speaking on that, I do have something to say to the 49ers fans. Before this game, all the 49ers fans were saying, it doesn't matter that we have all these injuries. It doesn't matter that we're basically a third-string team with a starting quarterback. It doesn't matter. We just beat the Eagles. We're going to wipe the floor with the Seahawks. The Eagles are a much better team than the Seahawks, so we're going to wipe the floor with them. Even with all these injuries, it doesn't matter. Then the belt to ass happens. We beat them 41-6, and now all the 40-whiner fans are out and saying, oh, well, you beat a third-string team. You beat a super injured team. We only had our starting quarterback, basically. So it didn't matter when you beat the Eagles and you hadn't played the Seahawks yet. But then once the Seahawks beat you, all of a sudden the injuries do matter. And that is the problem. And that is the reason that's the only reason the Seahawks won. Because I keep seeing, oh, well, if we had all our starters, that game would have gone completely different. Well, wasn't
and you're right.
It was supposed to go completely different even with all your injured players, though, wasn't it? And also, using the injury thing as an excuse, I hate. I even call... Like, if you haven't watched earlier episodes, there are episodes where Richard gives excuses to our defense for being injured, and I call him out on it because I hate that excuse. I hate that excuse for any team, including my own. I will not use that excuse because it is next man up. Always. Next man up. The point is, though, even if they were third strings, if your whole team was third stringers in there, doesn't matter. They made it to the NFL. Now, if you don't think that they are good enough to play against other NFL players, well, that's on your organization for drafting them in the first place then. Or even getting them, even if they weren't the ones that drafted them, they still put them on the team and thought they were good enough to be out there if needed. Well, guess what? They were needed, and they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
So
no, 100%. See, for me, I understand pointing to injuries as a reason. I don't agree anymore with pointing at injuries as the reason. Like, yes, this game was belt to ass because you had second stringers in. Yes, this game would have been different if you had had your starters. But this team, this Seahawks team, is just flat out more talented than most of the rosters in the NFL, and people just aren't willing to notice that because we're all the way over here in the Pacific Northwest. But my message to the 49ers fans, everything that Mitch just said stands. But I do want to point out a special group of you that I have seen. There was a TikTok video that was posted the night of the game where Kenneth Walker went looking for Christian McCaffrey, dapped each other up, gave each other hugs, talked to each other, a lot of respect between the two guys. I've seen also clips from Brock Purdy going up to Sam Darnold and telling him, go win it all. Like, there is respect between these two teams. And I have found a section of the 49ers that is respectful. And I want to shout out those 49ers fans and the fact that I wanted this to be a good game. Is it absolutely, like, there's no better feeling than putting belt to ass against your divisional opponent. But at the same time, I also really like competition. I like those nail-biting games. That's why I'm a fan of this team, because I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm addicted to it. I wanted this game to be closer. I expected this game to be closer. And I'm looking forward to the meetings next year, because those games are going to be cinema. That game, not a nail-biter. Absolute just cakewalk. Was over from the beginning. I do not think that this upcoming game is going to be anywhere close to the same. But before we get into that Rams game, at the beginning of the postseason, Mitch and I made playoff brackets. How did we do? Who did better than the other? I think there's some pretty funny misses when we look back on it. What Mitch, how about you tell me what your bracket was? I'll pull up mine, and you tell me what your bracket was.
So, I will say the wild card for the AFC side wasn't too bad. I had the Patriots beating the Chargers. I was right. I had the Texans beating the Steelers. I was right.
Okay.
I had the Jaguars beating the Bills. I was wrong, but I was only wrong by 3 points. That was a very close game. The other two,
that game was really
I was right, and I was right by a lot on the other two. But I was wrong on the Jaguars-Bills. I'm upset because I really like the Jaguars. Don't get me wrong. I like the Bills, too. I don't hate the Bills or anything, but I do like the Jaguars, and I was rooting for them because they've never made it to a Super Bowl. So I was rooting for them to go all the way, and it be a... Like, that's not what my bracket says, obviously, what I did and everything.
But that's what you want.
I was rooting for them. I just, when we made our brackets, it's not what I thought would happen. I did not think they would be a one and done against the Bills. I did think they were the better team, but unfortunately, they were not. And just barely. It was a very close game. On the NFC side, I had the Bears beating the Packers. I was right on that one. That was a nail-biter.
Yeah, that was such a good game, though.
But the Bears came back and won that. Mm-hmm. And then I was wrong on the other two. I said the Eagles would beat the 49ers. I was wrong on that one. And I said that the Panthers would beat the Rams. I was almost right on that one, though. The Panthers almost came back and beat the Rams. So, but yeah. So that's the wild card. So Richard, go ahead and talk about your wild card portion of your bracket, and then we'll move on to talking about the divisional round.
Yeah, so if we look at my bracket, I was right on the Patriots. To little surprise. I mean, that was a pretty easy choice, I think, frankly. I was wrong on the Jaguars-Bills, which was a close game, like I mentioned. And I was obviously correct on the Steelers. That was an easy choice. Aaron Rodgers was just not gonna do it. The only difference is I had the Jags moving on from the wild card, unfortunately, and I still wish that had happened. But now looking at the NFC, I had the Bears beating the Packers. Good, that's what happens. I knew Caleb Williams was going to be magical. I had the Eagles beating the Niners. Oof. I mean, the Eagles didn't look great, so I should have trusted. Honestly, I went back and forth on this one so much. I should have trusted my gut on that. And then I had the Rams beating the Panthers. I really didn't want it to happen. I would have loved if the Panthers had won, but unfortunately, the Rams are a better team than the Panthers. So, yeah, that was a closer game than I was expecting, though. I did kind of expect that to be a blowout, but here we are.
Yeah. On to the divisional round. So, in the divisional round, I did have the Broncos beating the Texans. They ended up going up against the Bills. I think I still would have picked the Broncos over the Bills, though. So, I would have been right on that anyway. And then I had the Patriots winning the divisional round against the Jaguars. They went up against the Texans. I still would have picked the Patriots to beat the Texans, and I would have been big time right, considering C.J. Stroud doesn't know how to play in a divisional round, apparently.
Eesh, yeah.
God forbid it's raining, apparently.
It was rough.
But I think I still would have picked the divisional round the same way, Broncos and Patriots moving on to the conference championship, even with who they did end up facing. I didn't think the Broncos-Bills game was going to be as close as it was. I didn't think it was going to go into overtime, and unfortunately, Broncos go and lose Bo Nix on second to final play of that game.
Okay,
that sucks.
If we're talking about that, give me 2 seconds to talk about that game, because oh my god, the fact that the Bills fired Sean McDermott and the owner came out talking shit about his fucking player, saying like, well, they wanted to draft him, I didn't want to draft him, and then also saying that he fired Sean McDermott directly because of that game, but then saying that he agreed with Sean McDermott that was a catch, which I don't really know what I feel. It was ridiculous. But fuck the Bills owner, first off. Now no one is going to want to coach, because the Bills was a really alluring place to go be a head coach, because you go get Josh Allen. you don't have to draft him. You already get a highly developed, highly capable Josh Allen. Now, nobody's want to go there because you could get fired even if the owner agrees with you, and he's going to talk shit about his players. I think the Bills are in for a very, very rough time in the NFL, which is unfortunate because I love Josh Allen. Just, oh my God. Fuck the Buffalo Bills. All my homies hate the Buffalo Bills. I love the players. The organization, pieces of shit. Sorry. I had to get that off my chest. I've been feeling pissed off about this all week.
Fair enough. I mean, fair. If we're going to talk about owners being pieces of shit real quick, then I also would like to bring up the Ravens owner. Fuck the Ravens. Fuck the Browns.
Divisional round in the NFC. What do you got?
So, yeah. And then NFC divisional round. I obviously had the Seahawks beating when they would have faced the Panthers. They ended up facing the 49ers. Like we already talked about with that 49ers game, I still would have picked the Seahawks winning over the 49ers.
The Panthers would have also been belt to ass, frankly.
Yeah, I do. I think that as well, and they would have had their starters.
Yeah.
And then in the divisional round, I had the Bears beating the Eagles. Unfortunately, I faced the Rams, and I still would have picked the Bears over the Rams. And I would have been almost right.
Yeah. No, that Bears-Rams game was close.
So, yeah, I think... So, I still would have picked the Seahawks to move on over the 49ers, and I would have been right. But I would have picked the Bears to beat the Rams, and I would have been wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, for my divisional side of the bracket, so I'll start in the NFC as well. So I also had the Bears beating the Eagles, and I agree that even if it was Bears Rams, like I had Bears Rams picked. Like I thought that the Bears were going to beat the Rams going into that game, and like you said, damn near right. Caleb Williams with one of the greatest throws in NFL history, and the team still loses the game. Just really unfortunate. Really hope they work on the defense because their offense is going to be cooking. And looking at the AFC, so I originally had the Houston Texans facing the Broncos. I honestly think I would have picked the Bills over the Broncos if they had I don't know, because the Broncos looked really good. Yeah, I trust Josh Allen. I trusted Josh Allen going into that game. I would have picked the Bills, honestly. And then I had the Jags versus the Patriots. Obviously, this didn't end up happening. The Patriots faced the Texans, and yikes. Yeah, that was not a good game. C.J. Stroud, like you said, does not know how to play in a divisional round, which is really unfortunate. I like C.J. Stroud a lot. I think he's a very fun quarterback, but yeah, just did not go well, unfortunately. So, moving on into the conference championship.
Who do you think you would have picked with the Patriots-Texans, though? Going into the game, before they played.
I think I would have picked... I probably would have picked Texans. I was very high on C.J. Stroud, honestly.
Fair enough. And you would have been highly disappointed.
Oh, yeah, I would have been so upset. Forgot to say that before moving on. I'm just so excited to talk about the conference championships, okay? The conference championships is all that is on my mind. So we'll just move on into the AFC conference championship. I had the Broncos facing the Jaguars. It is actually going to be the Broncos versus the Patriots. The Broncos don't have Bo Nix. And we have seen the Patriots be beaten by second-string quarterbacks before, i.e. Nick Foles. I just think the Patriots are better coached, which is crazy to say against. As much as I hate Sean Payton, he's an incredible coach. This game still feels like it could go either way. A lot of people are saying the Broncos are cooked, whatever. I don't think so. Like, confidence matters a lot, and they are very confident in Stidham. So, I mean, you can't play worse than C.J. Stroud. The bar is pretty low this postseason, but I am going to go with the Patriots on this one. I just don't feel sure. Before we go on to the NFC, Mitch, I want your AFC conference championship.
So either way, in hypothetical, you had the Broncos losing in conference championship, and in reality, you have them losing in conference championship, just to the Patriots instead of the Jaguars.
Yep.
So for my AFC, I had the Broncos and Patriots facing each other. I had the Patriots beating the Broncos, and I still think the Patriots beat the Broncos and move on to the Super Bowl.
So let's move on to the NFC. Obviously, on my bracket, I had the Seahawks and the Bears. The reality is, I mean, we all knew this was happening. Let's be honest here. We all when we saw what the divisional round was going to be, we all knew that this is what it was going to be. It was going to be the Rams and it was going to be the Seahawks. The NFC West owns the postseason. And I'm going with the Seahawks. It's terrifying. It's stressful. And I have some keys. I have some key points into why I think the Seahawks will win this game. It's not just me being a Seahawks fan. I genuinely believe that when you look on paper, this is such an evenly matched game. This feels like a coin flip, and that's horrifying to say. That means the slightest mistake made by either team, game over. I think the Seahawks are going to win, and I think they are going to go to the Super Bowl. Mitch?
I am stressed as hell for this game. But I had the Seahawks and Bears. I had the Seahawks beating the Bears. And I still say the Seahawks win the NFC Championship and beat the Rams and move on to the Super Bowl to face the Patriots. I, once again, am stressed as hell for this game. I'm more stressed for this game than I was for the 49ers game. But I also have key points on how I think we win this game. And those key points would also be how I think we potentially lose this game.
Okay.
But I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first on your key points, and see if I kind of agree with some of them, and if I have difference.
I didn't mention this to you when I was talking about us doing keys for this game, but I'm going to do one for offense, one for defense.
Okay.
My offensive key: just play clean. Just run the ball, play clean. Sam Darnold has proven that he can handle the pressure because they haven't put a huge workload on him. And he's been able to manage that, even in the playoffs, when there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. He has a playoff win. You just need to make sure he keeps it clean. No crazy throws, and run the ball. Let K9 get the touches. He's shown what he can do with the majority of the touches. Obviously, George Halani, he was designated back from IR, so he will be available to be activated for this game. They haven't totally confirmed whether or not he will be on the active roster, but he is back in practice, so Halani is an option. But give K9 as many touches as he can possibly get without wearing himself out. And just play careful. That's my offensive key to this game. This game will be won in the turnover battle, I think. You are not going to win this game with a negative turnover differential. Defensively, get to Matt Stafford. Under pressure, he looks completely different. If you watch the games, yes, he makes some crazy throws, but if you watch the games, he is noticeably more unsteady. If you can get to Matt Stafford and just pressure him, not even just get sacks, which obviously please, but if you can at least get some pressure on Matt Stafford, he will make mistakes. And like I said, this game will be won on mistakes. Force mistakes, let your secondary do the work. As a sub point, it's kind of obvious you need to shut down Puka Nacua. That's going to be harder in this game because you have Devontae Adams to also worry about, not to mention their tight ends, which have been amazing this year. But Puka Nacua, he's the one who tore us up. This defense allowed, 400, 500 yards last game in that Week 16 matchup on Thursday Night Football. Yes, you came away with that win, but I do not think you win that game this time around. We got a couple strokes of luck in that game. Earned 100%. It wasn't just dumb luck. But there were a couple things that fell our way. And you cannot rely on that for this game. So, just to recap, offensive key, play clean, run the ball. Defensive key, get to Matt Stafford, make him make a mistake.
All right, so my keys for this game are also, I have an offensive one and I have a special teams one, actually.
Interesting.
So, offense is kind of the same that you said. Keep it clean. Especially Sam Darnold. Limit those interceptions. Preferably to 0. But no more than 1.
Very little wiggle room in this game.
You can afford, I think, 1 interception. I would prefer none, but I think you can afford 1. If you throw more than 1, it gets extremely dicey and extremely hard for the defense if you throw any more than 1 interception. So, key point again, Sam Darnold needs to keep it clean. Throw no more than 1 interception. Please keep it to 0. Key point for special teams. Rashid Shaheed, do your fucking thing and make this Rams special teams defense look silly like most teams have this entire season.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst special teams defense in the entire league. They're not the worst, but they are one of the worst.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they are the worst special teams defense that actually made it into the playoffs.
I mean, they were so bad that they fired their special teams coordinator. Like, yeah, this special teams is rough for the Rams for sure.
Rashid Shaheed, you made the 49ers special teams defense look silly in 13 seconds. They actually had a good special teams defense, like a really good one actually. And you made them look silly in 13 seconds. Make the Rams special teams defense that's the worst in the playoffs right now. Make them look silly in 10.
So, yeah, I mean, I would love for this to be belt to ass. It won't be, but I was thinking about making Shaheed one of my key points for this game, so I'm really, really glad that you brought that up. But, yeah, I mean, this game, division games are different, man. Division games are different. I'm stressed. I'm a little nervous for sure, but I'm looking forward to this game 100%. I do think that the Seahawks are going to win. They're going to move on to the Super Bowl. They're going to win the Super Bowl in the San Francisco 49ers Stadium. It's going to be beautiful. Literally, this is just the NFC West Bowl. Because, frankly, even if the Seahawks lose and the Rams go to the Super Bowl, I don't care who it is that comes out of the AFC. I think the NFC wins. I think the NFC, with the Rams, the NFC playoffs as a whole, all teams looked better than a lot of the teams in the AFC. Even the Panthers looked better than some of the AFC playoff teams. So,
I mean, we're the only division. The NFC West is the only division to have ever in NFL history to have 3 teams make it to the playoffs with 12 or more wins, and all 3 of those teams make it to the divisional round. But I can't wait to see the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl and watch the Seahawks win in 49ers Stadium. It'll be the cherry on top there. We beat all our NFC rivals, and we win in an NFC rivals stadium.
Yeah, no, 100%.
This game is still going to be stressful. So,
yeah.
Sam Darnold, keep it clean. Rashid Shaheed, make them look silly. Like you said, defense, get to Matthew Stafford. Make him look horrible.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else, Richard?
No, this game is going to be stressful, but I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be the best game. This could very well go down as one of the best playoff games in history if these two teams play the way that they can and play at their best. But from one championship round to another, let's switch gears to your Seattle Mariners. Let's go! So, the Mariners' offseason has been pretty quiet. They signed Josh Naylor. They've gotten some pile guys. They did sign Rob Refsnyder, but there really hasn't been a lot of big movement, a lot of movement that we expected. It's kind of like a, if not when, or if not now, the fact that you just made the championship series, when are you going to go out there and make a big move? Now, granted, for some of the things, the market was just out of reach. They weren't going to go get Kyle Tucker. They weren't going to go get, Cody Bellinger, those sorts of things. Those guys were just, they were never going to come to Seattle. But there is still one guy that the Mariners have been looking for that every Mariners podcaster and news group has talked to death, so I'm not going to spend too much time on him. But Brendan Donovan has been one of the Mariners' top trade targets, and according to MLB Live on Twitter, who actually apparently used to be Cardinals Live, and he's got a reputation, I'll put it that way. He claims that the Mariners have put their final offer on the table for Brendan Donovan. They have informed the Cardinals that they will not be adding any more pieces. This is the final offer, and that is that. The ball is in the Cardinals' court. Now, this could spell the end. This could mean that the Mariners are not going to get Brendan Donovan. Maybe the Cardinals just say, okay, well, we are not going to reach an agreement. Pleasure attempting to do business with you. Farewell. And they send us on our way. And we have Cole Young be the starting second baseman for the Seattle Mariners team. Another potential that Mariner Mojo actually brought up on their podcast. It could also be, okay, the Cardinals now, maybe they want to do this deal with the Mariners. They like the Mariners deal. And now they can go to the other teams in the MLB and say, hey, this is the deal we've got. Can you match that? Can you do any better? And if they come back with no, boom, Brendan Donovan's a Mariner. So it could still go either way, but we probably will hear something within the next couple days, if not the next couple weeks. So we'll see. Just keeping an eye out on that. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet on the Mariners' end. Honestly, it's not the greatest offseason. It's not what I wanted to see after also making a championship series. This is the best season in Seattle history, I would say, in Seattle sports history. We do have, like I said, there hasn't been a lot of offseason moves for the Mariners, except for on the MLB Top 100 rankings chart. So what we are going to do here today is I'm going to have Mitch, like we do with our power rankings sometimes, I'm going to ask him a couple of questions regarding the MLB Network's Top 100 players, and we'll see how it goes. So, Mitch, first thing I'm going to have you do, out of 100, how many Mariners players do you think made the top 100 list for 2026?
Real quick, before I answer that, I will say the Mariners did at least make it, the Seahawks and Mariners did at least make something exciting as far as postseason goes. This is the first time ever that both the Seahawks and Mariners made it both to their postseasons.
Oh, that's really just both to their postseason period?
Yeah, so
wow.
The Seahawks,
well, I guess that would make sense because the last time the Mariners did it was 2001 and then 2022, and I think the Seahawks missed the postseason in 2022.
They missed the postseason both years that the Mariners made it, and so this is the first year that both Mariners and Seahawks have made their postseasons respectively.
That's cool. I love that. Good stat.
Top 100. What was the question again? Sorry.
Out of 100 players, obviously because this is the top 100, how many Mariners are in the MLB Top 100?
I think 7.
That's actually higher than what the number is. It's really close.
Fuck.
I was gonna let you have another guess, but it was actually 6. 6
Oh,
players.
so close. Now I wonder on this
Mariners,
because I did write down who I think is in there. So I wonder out of my 7,
You're 7.
how many
is automatically not gonna?
Yeah, someone's automatically not in, and I wonder how many out of these 7 are actually in there. So I'm curious.
Okay, so give me the Mariners player out of 100 you think is going to be ranked the lowest.
So on my list here, let's see, who do I have as the lowest? I hope that he's in the top 100. I have him very low, but J.P. Crawford at number 80.
The number is decently close. The player is not correct.
Damn it.
It is Logan Gilbert. So knowing that you're close to 80, where do you think they would put Logan Gilbert?
I had Logan at number 60.
Number 60?
Yeah. What number was he actually?
Number 60. He was number 72.
Okay, number 72.
And just for a point of reference of like how good Logan Gilbert is, I'll give you a couple people that are kind of in that same range. Yandy Diaz, Alejandro Kirk, Jacob Wilson, Seiya Suzuki, Christian Yelich, Ranger Suarez, Framber Valdez, Jose Altuve, and Mike Trout. Not too far away from that, about 10 away from him. So he's in some good company. So who do you think is next above Logan Gilbert?
So who I would have, I had George Kirby on my list as well. Is he in there?
Interesting. George Kirby did not make the top 100 list this year. I would assume that's because he was injured and did not look too great coming back from his starts. But where did you have George Kirby?
58. I had him 2 spots above Logan Gilbert.
58. So the next Mariner is actually a level 70.
So here's what my list is. I'll go from who I have at the, and I'll even say the names that I've already said as well. So
okay,
my list, and I'll give the numbers as well. All right. So based on what you said, these numbers are probably not going to be even close. Maybe some.
Yeah, it didn't sound great.
Some might be close, but I don't think the players are going to be right. I have Cal Raleigh at number 8. I have Julio at number 10. I have Josh Naylor at 15. I have Luke Raley at 52. George Kirby at 58. Logan Gilbert at 60. And then JP at 80. Okay, first tell me what names did I even get right? Before you even give me where they're at on the list.
You got Cal Raleigh, Julio, and Josh Naylor. So 3 out of 7.
No, and Logan.
Oh, wait, no, and you had Logan. Yes, so 4 out of 7. So, not bad. Not
Okay,
bad.
I was only wrong on 3, and I already knew 1 wasn't even going to be there because there's only 6 in total.
Yeah.
So,
So
out
not
of getting
bad.
6, I only really got 2 wrong.
You got 2/3 of them right in a way. So
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna
So
start from the
obviously-
bottom going up.
So Luke isn't there, George
Mm-hmm.
isn't there, and JP isn't there.
Yeah. So Logan Gilbert was number 72 on the list. Josh Naylor was number 70 on the list. Eugenio Suarez, who I am going to count because he was with the Mariners for part of the year, is 66 on the list. Even though he's not a Mariner right now, I am going to count it. Brian Wu is number 44 on the list. Now, mind you, he's in company with like Hunter Green, Rafael Devers, Byron Buxton, Pete Crow Armstrong, some really, really solid players. And then it's a little while before the next Mariner because Julio Rodriguez is number 16. So you were pretty close. You had him at 10. Number 10 was Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Oh, okay. Well, that
So
makes
actually,
sense.
in between Julio and 10, Vladdy, Francisco Lindor, Garrett Crochet, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Fernando Tatis Jr. were all above Julio. I honestly agree with most of these, except maybe Fernando. I would have flipped those two. He was ahead of Kyle Schwarber, Mookie Betts, Ketel Marte, Kyle Tucker, Freddie Freeman. He was ahead of some big names. I mean, he's 16th on the list. But then, where did you have Cal Raleigh?
I had him at 8.
Okay. Number 8 in real life is Tarek Skubal.
Huh. Okay.
Cal Raleigh is only behind 3 players. Cal Raleigh is number 4. The 3 players the MLB Network's Top 100 have as better than Cal Raleigh, tell me if you agree or not. Shohei Ohtani is number 1.
That makes sense.
Aaron Judge. You're really not going to agree with this one because I don't even think you know this person's name. Bobby Witt Jr.
I know who that
He's better
is.
than Cal
How
Raleigh.
dare you? I don't agree with it. I don't agree that he's better than Cal Raleigh, but I know who that is.
I think they could be flipped, frankly. I honestly don't. I'm not too upset at it. I think
No,
they could be flipped.
I do know who that is, and I do know that he is also a really good player. I think Cal Raleigh is slightly better than him.
The last thing with the top 100, I was showing you kind of in between where you had some of the other ones. Cal Raleigh is at number 4, like we mentioned. There are, so from number 8, which is where you originally had him, it is Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, Juan Soto, and Jose Ramirez are the only ones that are near Cal Raleigh in the top 100. So, I think we kind of wrap it up there. You know, there's not a lot of Mariners going on. We talked about the Seahawks buzz. We talked about this game. This is going to be a nail-biter of a game. But I'm excited. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the Seahawks to show what they have, to show that they're meant to be here. But with that, I'm looking forward to the baseball season. I'm finally, I'm starting to get that feeling where I'm like, I'm ready to watch the Mariners. I miss hearing these guys. I'm ready to get invested in this team again. And to mention that, something I want to shout out, with the hype for the Mariners coming up, we are going to be working, hopefully working on a couple of videos with some other Mariners creators coming up here soon. We'll get you more details on that as things kind of fall together. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say on this previous game, on the upcoming game. Mitch, where are you at right now?
Stressed, but excited.
Before we sign off, I want to ask you one thing. I know we primarily talked to you about Seahawks and stuff, but what are your feelings going into this, upcoming season for the Mariners? Just real quick.
I'm actually really excited for this podcast, mainly, but also just to see the Mariners make the World Series this year. I'm calling it now, even before the season starts. Mariners make the World Series this year. I'm not saying they'll win. I got to see how they play this year before I make that call. But before the season even starts, I say the Mariners at least make the World Series this year. Halfway through the season, I'm going to make the call if I think they'll make it and win.
All right. I like that.
I'm going to say that now. I'm going to give that, you got to watch these episodes. Got to, at least once, the baseball season's halfway through, tune in for that episode, because that's where Mitch is going to make the call on if he thinks the Mariners win the World Series or not.
Yeah, I think that is going to do it for us here at the 12th Inning Podcast, unless you have anything, Mitch.
That's all I got.
All right, well, buckle up. We're in for a crazy game on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, what else do you say? What else do you say? Like we always say here at the 12th Inning Podcast, thank you so much for watching. Real quick, one final shout out I want to give once again to PNW Edit for that video at the beginning of this video. Really appreciate him and just once again showing that love between Seattle people. So, like we always say here on the 12th Inning Podcast, Trident's up. Go Mariners.
12 is 1. Go Hawks.